What's going on, guys? Rockley AC here, bringing you guys a very special video. Today I'll be talking about our Naruto CCG $500 tournament that was hosted by Humming Events down in Portage, Indiana, down at Ruben's shop, Dragons, Lair, Cards and Comics. This was an awesome event that happened over the weekend by a couple passionate players who wanted to host a couple more Naruto events. Even though the game has been discontinued for several years now, there are random organizers out there who love the game and still are hosting tournaments all around the U.S. So it's really awesome. They put together this really crazy event, $500 first place prize, along with a whole bunch of other like random things, playmats, promos. You had a whole set of the set 29 fan proxy deck. You also had, I mean, it was just nuts. Like they gave out like all these giveaways. I also helped out with donating some prizes. They also paid for lunch and dinner, which is crazy. Jimmy John's and some pizza. So shout outs to them. Travis, Dakota, everybody out there, Ruben, and Claudio, everybody just putting this really huge event together. We had 28 players, which is insane for a dead card game, and definitely it was a lot of fun. Unfortunately, it bubbled out. I lost to my own deck, Revitalize, and I lost to Zeke, who got third place. So that bumped me out of top 8. But that's okay. There are 4 times where I went and mulled down to 4 cards, so I guess I got to draw better. But I know I probably would have done better, but it was an event that was really there for fun, and I just want to show you guys the deck that I ran. So today, for that day, I ran a female deck. Shoutouts to Alex Blandin, who actually gave me pretty much the core shell. I wanted to run something similar to this, and I was crunched on time, didn't have a lot of time to play test. First time we played in over a year and a half was a couple days before the event, so definitely a little rusty, but just trying to get a hold of things here or there. But yeah, most of this deck is his, with a lot of tweaks to my liking, but I'll describe those. Real quick, it was 6 rounds. They were an hour each. It was a long day. My first round I went against Ku Chang out in Minnesota. He was running a, I think, mono lightning, 4 times faster variant. I ended up beating him 2-1. Next, I played against one of our teammates who I gave Revitalize to, and I lost in game 3. By the next combat, he drew into his spontaneous tree summoning and got me down the last couple of battle wards. Next, I played against, well, his alias name is Charles Bob, so I don't want to give out his real name, but it was a Hyuga BR flip kind of deck. We ended up tying 1-1. Next, I played Scrub Ruben, his typical no-hand water deck. I beat him 2-1. Round 5, I went against Zeke. I just didn't have any outs, not enough cards to stop his put and play puppets, so he beat me 2-0. And then last round, I went against Jared, who was from Indiana, I believe, and he was playing a BR flip. I beat him in that game. So I ended up with, I think, a 3-1-2 record. So I ended up getting like 11th. My buddy Charlie bubbled out at 9th. But we had our other teammates, Love, who got 2nd, Zeke, who finished 3rd, and then David Albron, shout out to him, he also got top 8. So a lot of our guys, placed up top. Shout outs to Love, Levi Love, who, gosh, it's so confusing because we had 2 Loves in the finals. Love Desai, who's out in Illinois, he played Levi Love, for the finals match, and Levi squeaked out the victory there. So that was a really cool, finals event. If you guys haven't checked that already, support his channel. They're just starting something new, so I'll have that link below. But yeah, let's go ahead straight to the deck profile. I know you guys are used to my long videos, so let's just go straight ahead. We will start off with the client, the only client that I played, and that is Amy. Amy is an amazing card. She's super versatile. If you're running multiple females, you could just splash her in the deck. She picks out a mission or Jitsu in the hand. So if you want to go in for the final push, or if you want to stop your opponent from drawing so many cards, like getting Warhawk or Shiko's Decision out of their hand, having your females live on turn, 2 basically, is really powerful. Even turn 1, because she counts herself as a female. So very strong. Next, I ran Toby. He's limited 1. Just everybody runs in the deck. I mean, this card's just too good. Why wouldn't you run it? Next, I ran for the 0 drops 3 Hotaru. She's female. This deck is mostly Earth Wind, so you're going to see most of those elements here. But she's just a very, very strong ninja. When you put her in play, you could either draw or give her a growth coin, so she's super strong. Next is 3 Hanare. Another very strong card. You could look at your opponent's hand. Hand knowledge is key. You kind of work your way around different plays. Even later on in the game, I drop her because you get to look at her hand. If they're playing any jitsus, you could calculate based on if you want to attack or save an extra turn or whatnot. So she's very powerful. You draw. If they got a mission in the hand, you charge a card. Next is Tamari. She's broken. She gets to move the positions of her team, so she could become back ninja, so the quote-unquote head ninja won't get damaged. If you guys have more question about this, PM me, but this card is amazing. Helps you stall against aggro. This is a very strong card. And then the last 2 0 drops, each of a 1 of, is Sakura Childhood. She could kind of help you get a hand advantage when she's put in play or removed from play. You get to reveal the top, and if it's a ninja, you move it to your hand. She also has growth, so you growth out of the other Sakura. Next is Hinata Awaken. I like her because she forces my opponent to have 1 less card in their hand, so it's kind of like a hand control in a way. But when she blocks, she gets a growth coin on it. If not, then you could always growth her out of the other higher drop Hinata. Next is 2 Inos. So Ino Vanilla, I've run her for a reason because of Mind Transfer. Not too many ninjas in the early game have 3 or more mental powers, so it's really important for her to, to drop this early. In this format, in the Humming Events Rogue list, Mind Transfer was limited 1, so it was kind of hard to abuse this kind of, mental power strategy. But in the Midwest list, I know Mind Transfer is at 2, so that's probably more feasible. But she's good. She's a 3 support, so it's super strong. So you could become a 6 on turn 0. And I run other cards to pump up my ninjas. Next is Karen. She heals your ninjas, allows you to kind of go in swinging hard without worrying about losing so much of your team's power value. She's just strong. I mean, as a 1 of. 2 KNS. This card was not limited or touched or anything like that. I didn't want to run 3 because it'd be off element, so it's a lightning, so sometimes it could get cloggy in the hand. If you have too much, I think 2 is perfect. When it comes into play, you reveal the top card, move it to your hand, protects your leaf ninjas in the team, and it has 4 mental power, so super strong, really hard for your opponent to get rid of it, and it's a great support. It's just overall one of the best 2 drops in the game. Next is Hinata, for the one she admired. When your opponent searches or draws any cards due to a ninja or ninja card, you could discard 1 card from their hand, and then to stop that, or they could do that from random from the hand. Then you could draw a card and discard a card. So she puts a lot of pressure on your opponent, kind of disrupts them from playing certain cards that do additional effects. So she's good. She's female. Next, the MVP and the main card, which unfortunately I don't have, but I have to have proxies. Is Sakura Woman's Life. She's like your main turn 3 drop. During the turn that this ninja is put in play, if you have only female ninjas, this ninja's team can only be blocked by a team of female ninjas, and then all my other female ninjas get +1/+1 power and mental power. So she won so many games. I mean, there were times where my opponent had 1 female on one of the teams and they couldn't block, so she was just 2 free prizes. And squatting her up with Hina later in the game is just super strong too. So she is very powerful. She has growth, so you can growth over her, get the effect again. If she doesn't have a growth coin, she's just way too strong. Next is Naruto Reliance. He is limited to 1 on the list, so he basically grabs any, well in this case, wind mission, so it helps you hit your curve of draws and all that stuff, and you could squat them out later on as well. I don't really drop them because I'm playing female, so if I need to drop them to search for missions, I will. Next is 2 Chiriku. This card's really good too. When you have ninjas with a combined mental power of 8 or more, this ninja's team cannot be affected by your opponent's Jitsu cards, so really good, really strong. You could go in without having to worry about being affected by your opponent's Jitsus, and it's very easy to get 8 mental power because a lot of your female ninjas are base 2 mental. Next is Tamari Kankuro. She's a platoon, so all you need is one of these cards. So you could put you run the 2-drop, you'd run the 0-drop Tamari is at 2, so you're more likely to get this combo off, or at least once in a while. And when you put it in play, you can look at your opponent's hand and pitch a card. If not, they have to discard 2 to avoid it. It's super strong and forces your opponent to lose something. Next is Kurenai. She's also very flexible. In this deck, she's super strong against decks that want to attack you aggro if they're swinging 3 teams. So you could just pitch her, and then your opponent doesn't win any battle awards. She's female, and she's just very strong. Definitely recommend running her. Next is 2 Yamato. Planning, another great card. During the EOJ, if you have ninjas with a combined mental power of 12 or more, which you can pretty realistically, you can move 1 Jitsu or mission card from your discard pile to your hand, so you could cycle in certain broken Jitsus like Reanimation, Mind Transfer, or your missions like Comp Strengths to get them back. It's very, very powerful. It definitely helped with many games. And then last ninja is 6-drop Tsunade. Kimono, she's female. She can swat into Sakura, and she's 3 mental power. And then also, if I have 3 or more other female ninjas, move 1 Win Jitsu card from a discard pile to my hand. So it's another way to get back Jitsus, being able to reuse them. I think I only really used her power once because I didn't really bring out too many late drop ninjas. Alright, so on to the missions. 2 Comp Strengths, be able to negate any powerful put and play ninjas. I think it's really good in the main board. You just need to be wary of certain ninja effects and stop them from using crazy Jitsus. 2 Lunchbox is probably one of my favorite cards, because it prevents your opponent from also attacking recklessly in the beginning because your ninjas are getting +1/+1. So when you have a strong team of 5, 6, then you get bumped up to like 8, 9. It makes your opponent think a little bit and force them to maybe either pass or use a Jitsu. Super strong. I like it. One of my favorite missions. Next, for the 1-cost missions or turn 1 missions, 2 Student Sensei, you need some early draw. Give a battle award draw too. Next is 2 Pressure. Alex Blandin special. This is basically his deck that he ran at Gen Con a couple years back. Pressure allows for you to push for a game. It's a permanent. Ninjas with 0 or less mental power, including ninjas with no mental power, cannot be sent out to battle. And then during your opponent's mission phase, they could discard 2 cards from their hand to discard this mission card. So this card is really strong. Helped me against like Ruben's matchup against No Hand Water. Surprisingly, he didn't have any female ninjas. So when you drop this, not too many ninjas with like 0 cost or more mental power to defend. A lot of times against like lightning ninjas, Sasuke, like ninjas that don't have any mental power, you just push for damage and it helps you go for game. Definitely won me a couple games. Next, 3 Sheikah's Decision. One of the best missions in the game. Search for any card equal or less than your mental power for the user. I don't have Shikamaru in here, but it helps to search for your females, and if you search a female, you get to draw a card. Next, Training in the Moonlight. It's limit 1 for a reason. I kind of have some hand discard in this deck. Not so much, but it's more like hand control in terms of how many cards you could have in your hand. Training in the Moonlight definitely helps. Really strong. Last 2 missions is 2 Shelter from the Shifting Sands. This card is more tech than usual. I'm not using the first effect really, but the bottom effect. While this mission card is in your chakra area, your opponent's maximum hand size is reduced by 1. So in Naruto, your maximum hand size is 6. So if you have one of these in there, their maximum hand size is 5. And then if you have 2 of these in there, which has happened more than once, their max mana is 4. So allows you to either keep up with hand parity or just go in, while your opponent doesn't have so much of a hand. Next, onto the Jitsus. 2 Ferocious Punch. One of the best negates in the game, especially if they're female. You negate it, you give damage to the opponent, and this is really strong. It also has a expert effect for Tsunade. You win 1 Battle Ward. She's a user. Alright, next. 1 Fear Buy. It's limit 1. Gotta run it. So good. 1 Embrace. Limit 1. Gotta run it. Mind Transfer. In this deck, you can run it because you're running Ino. She just steals ninjas. A lot of times where you could just pick out certain ninjas and then, go into your reinforcement and, tough luck for your opponent. Reanimation Jutsu, also limit 1, but in this deck you can manipulate it by getting it back through Yamato and Tsunade and stuff, so very powerful card. And last but not least, Hydro Pump, also really strong Jutsu. So that is my main 50. Let me go quick with my sideboard. I did use some of those cards. Hina for mill and permanent mission decks. Changing Pairings. This card is another tech one that actually helped me out in the No Hand Water matchup and another game. Basically, you could target one of your opponent's ninjas. The target cannot be sent out to battle during this turn. So if my opponent is playing female ninjas and I happen to drop 3-drop Sakura where you can only be blocked by females, I played Changing Pairings, and then it forces them to not be able to use their females. So it helped push for, I think it was like 3 or 4 damage for the win, and it just worked out. So super strong, really helpful. Next, the next target. I like this because it's an early quote-unquote mission negate. It's a permanent, but during the mission phase, you can move this in-play mission card to your shock area. In that case, negate and discard 1 mission card that's being played, or discard 1 in-play client. So it does have multiple uses. I like it because in this format, sometimes you're not able to stop those big missions until like mid-game, and it could, depending on the matchup, it could be too late. So a turn 2, that's similar to like Interruption in a way. I think this is the next best mission because you have the flexibility of negating a mission or even like a client. So super powerful, very good. Third, Calm Strength. It went in a couple times against decks that I felt like were troublesome. A lot of decks that use powerful jutsus as a user, so like Chidori with Sasuke, Kakashi, like a lot of like crazy things that people can use early. Jonah's Intervention, like a lot of that stuff. So you need to negate text effects. 1 Yoroi, he was there for another flex spot for sideboard. When this ninja sent out to attack, choose one of your opponent's ninjas. In that case, during this turn and the next turn, when they're sent out to battle, you could discard up to 2 of their chakra. So it's nice because you get to choose. So they have an attack that, they got an ambush ninja, they can say bye to that. They got Chidori, they can say bye to that. Just a lot of chakra pressure. It's a very control card. Next, I ran 1 Ino Playful. She was very, very useful. Each player cannot put in play more than 1 ninja per turn. So it stopped a lot of decks, the Lightning deck, from being able to squat in so many things in 1 turn. I didn't play the Insect deck, but that would have helped against that. It's just like a lot of late game pressure and stuff, and a lot of shenanigans, flashpoint stuff. This effect text of your opponent's head ninjas are also negated. So also when they're sent out to battle, that's when that ninja's team, the head ninja becomes a head ninja. So their effects text is negated. Super strong. I like it a lot. And then the last sideboard was Gengo. Didn't side it all day. Not too many active effects that I like, so there's that. And then let's take a look at the reinforcement deck. Went into it a couple times. The most common was Sakura and Hinata. So when this ninja is put in play, your opponent can organize their teams. During the turn that this ninja is put in play, only female ninjas can be sent out to battle. So this one also helped against the game against Ruben. He couldn't block. He had no females. Sakura, Tsunade, squad. Let's see if we can get this closer here. Probably not. But yeah, when you have only female ninjas in play, each of your female ninjas, including this ninja, cannot be affected by the effect of Jutsu cards and your opponent's male ninjas and the effects of your opponent's male ninjas in play. So super strong. Didn't really bring her out too much. I didn't really see Tsunade. Gartamari, very powerful. The rest of these are just cards that you could steal from Mind Transfer, basically. If you guys don't know, Mind Transfer, if you use it by you get to keep it for additional turns, so it doesn't go back to the end of their turn, the end of your turn, but it goes back to the end of your next turn. So you're able to keep it, play with it, attack with it, do whatever you want, and that counts as, and it also counts as going into reinforcement. So if you happen to steal a Gara, then you could squad into Tamari. Naruto you could do by itself. Look at this crappy Sage mode proxy, $5 for anybody who wants it. But there's that. Danzo if you steal like a Sharingan Eye user. Yamato Kakashi if you steal Kakashi, which would be hard because Kakashi's mental powers are usually 3. Naruto Sasuke, very strong. You run Naruto, so if you steal Sasuke, you could pretty much use some Jutsus. Tachi or Pain. This is a squad platoon, so you only need one of these cards to go into. Kido State 2, steal a Kidomaru. Sasuke State 2 is really the only other State 2 out there. Sasori Puppet Mode, play against puppets. Vertical Icon if you're going against Void. And the Naruto, it's limited at 1 for a reason. We also had 16 slots for the reinforcement because they were allowed to, it allowed us to use one of the really cool proxies that they have. One of the new cards. It's a what's it called, promo. Sasuke. So he's really cool. The guys gave these out as entries and everything. Don't know why mine's not focusing there. There you go. Maybe. But yeah, basically you could sacrifice a Sasuke with entries cost 3 or more. When this ninja is sent out to battle, you could target one of your other battling ninjas, and they switch places. So it's good or bad, depending. If opponent has like, you could have like a stronger attack or take the damage or whatever. And this ninja is also considered to have Jonin on turn 7. And then this is another promo that they gave out, I think for participation. Different alternate art versions of the Kages, so that's really awesome. You guys see that in foil. But yeah, that is my 65 deck with the reinforcement. It was a really awesome event. Shout out again one more time to Humming Events. They're just going around every couple months or so, and they're hosting different Naruto events around the U.S. So if you guys are around the area, if you guys show interest, if you guys still have a small group out there, hit them up, hit me up. I can get you guys in contact with the organizer. The Midwest is still going to be trying to host events too as well. So those who are used to like my Dragon Ball Super content, I will be posting Naruto and Super as I originally was. So hopefully you guys enjoy both of them. And join the Naruto CCG Facebook group because that's how we stay in contact. And then if you guys want a really, really awesome database for Naruto, a quick way to look up all these cards if you guys are interested in it. Most events are going to do proxies, so you could just print out these cards for tournaments. Go to NarutoCCG.com, download the link, either Apple or Android, and you're able to get this really cool database that will show, everything. Matter of fact, let me show you guys that right now, because, I don't know, maybe you could see that. So, yeah, as you guys can see here, we already have Levi Love's deck profile up, so click the link wherever it is. Here you go. And you could... Team Kage, there you go. Shout out to Team Kage. Make sure you guys give them a like, subscribe. Team New Kage Gaming. You can look at the rogue lists. Oh gosh, terrible. You got the Midwest rogue list. You got Humming Events rogue list. Team Kage, who is also hosting an event. Shoutouts in a couple weeks down in Ohio, I believe. They'll be hosting a Naruto CCG tournament as well down in Columbus. So make sure you look at that. You can make your own user. You can make all kinds of decks. Really, really awesome. Shoutouts again to Claudio. This is like amazing for this kind of card game. You could search different ninjas. Gosh, this is becoming like a promo video. Which, oh well. Let's take a look at that real quick. So yeah, you can see all the kinds of Sasuke's. Anybody related to that, you can look it up, click on it, and then it'll bring you like the card effects and all that. So shout outs again to everybody who was involved in the community. I know this game has been dead, but obviously there are a lot of passionate players out there who still love the game, from the Midwest to the West Coast, from the East Coast, everywhere, all around. Hit it up, tell your friends, let them know, if you guys are interested in an event, maybe we'll come down there. And as usual, thank you guys again for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. See y'all next time.